it's getting darker and darker, and there's just no way right now for these drivers to know exactly what's going to happen.
These guys are going to have to be really, really careful and tiptoe around the track until it's either stopped.
Not even 10 minutes into this race, and I feel like we've got enough strategy going on for a whole event, but still a long, long way to go.
There's Yellowstone, there's Yosemite, but for racing fans and for Grid Life's Elkhart Classic, the destination is Road America, the National Park of Speed. Rewind to the front of the field here. Look at the wheel tab up the inside for the race lead. We head down to the first corner.
These guys have no idea what they're coming into. Look at this field. They're 2 wide, 3 wide, a couple places slipping.
Side by side for the race lead, 54, 48 through 3 and 4, working lap number 60, 110 laps to go. Yusuf Ghali, power move to the bottom of the racetrack, making the short way work. They're going to touch down the hill.
This will be a great run for Fuller here.
Yes, if we go ran off the track in the final quarter, that'll allow Fuller to get a massive.
Here he comes.
Does he have a look?
Oh, big block here by Sanfilippo. Into the grass goes Ben Fuller for turn 1, and Sanfilippo hangs on. He's loose. No! And he crashes hard in the exit of turn number 2.
Don't try him here, boys. They're going to do it.
Gritsko backs out. They touch. They're going to crash. Gritsko going to slam the attenuator hard into the wall, and Jared Tesson hits him as well. And big damage on these cars. That's a huge
number 4, people are struggling for grip, going out of every single lane, trying to then run. It's getting really insane.
Powered by AWS for the Intercontinental GT Challenge, powered by Pirelli at the Indianapolis 8-hour. We are 7 hours and 18 minutes into this 8-hour event.
John Miller way deep on the brakes to the inside of turn number 1 and 2. The spin, the 3 car gets turned around in front of the car.
James Houghton looking for a place to go, but he's got Austin Cobb to the inside. A bit of a gap behind. I think that's about 15th or 16th spot as they come out of turn 3. Big slide over this.
Getting a run. He's got it. Going to be a drag racing line. Final corner. Checkered flag waving. Here they come. At Virginia National Raceway. To the line. Thompson, Darling, door to door. Banging doors. Fender to fender. I can't believe what we just saw.
What happens when you take cars with a bunch of horsepower, put them on a slick track, and tell these guys to go at it? Well, I'll tell you what you're going to get. You're going to get some fantastic racing, guys slipping and sliding around for grip, and a whole lot of boys going at it. My name is Finny Kuna here with Connor Horn for the 13th round of the Untitled Racing League season, 2021A season, and we're here at none other than Atlanta Motor Speedway. Connor, glad to have you with me.
I'm excited to be here. I love Atlanta. It's one of my favorite tracks on this service because of how hot and slick it can get. You have different lanes to choose. You pretty much have 3 to 4 different lanes to choose if you're really testy. It should be a very exciting race with this package.
Indeed. Cutback track site here again. It's round 13 of the season, and it's been a very entertaining season so far. Many different winners, and while the last race we had repeat winners, still have a chance of some new guys putting their names for the first time in victory lane of this season. It's been very competitive. There have been so many comers and goers this season. Looking forward to seeing who's going to be the next name to top the charts.
I wouldn't be surprised if Zach Carr goes back-to-back. The last race we had was at Phoenix. He led 100 of 170 laps, dominated the race at Phoenix, won by 7.5 seconds over Joshua Banks. He's been on a giant tear so far, and he's not as high in the points as you'd think. He hasn't ran all the races. He's 14th. He can still have a chance of making a chase. He needs a really good race today, though.
Indeed, and taking a look at qualifying at the moment here, as a lot of these drivers have already put down times. Looking at the top of the charts, Brandon Bowers, Jeff Wright, Ryan Kish, Mitchell Welker, and Ryan Carlisle. And notably for the 42 and the 16 of Kish and Welker, respectively, returning after a little bit of a hiatus from the series. So glad to see those two drivers not only back on the track, but near the top of the standings as well. So Project 2 looking to be coming back in some pretty strong force.
Yeah, both of them look fast. Third and fourth, like you said, on the second row right now. A lot of drivers, half the field just about still has to qualify. Like you said, they're chasing Brandon Bowers, who only ran a 1/1000th of a second faster than Jeff Wright, a 29.93 for Bowers, a 21.931 for Wright. So those two are about 300s in front of Kish and Welker, but they're right next to each other time-wise, but we still have a few people to go.
Yeah, and also got some guys still coming across the line. Bryce Calusa just came flying across the line in 14th, out on a second lap to see if he can improve that standing. AJ Stravato, he just came across the line up into 9th for him. Cut back to see where Bryce Calusa ends up, because he's a guy up near the top of the standings, specifically, if I'm not mistaken, in second place coming into this race. Indeed, he is in second, and across the line from 14th, he will potentially jump up to 8th place for the number 20 car. And also, you can see he's got green numbers on the hood and on the sides. It's a Dash for Cash race. We got 5 drivers eligible for it. And of those 5, one of them, Bailey Turner, not here tonight. But we do have Bryce Calusa, Zach Halporn, AJ Travato, and Chuck Sweeting in the run for the money. It's a very competitive field for those guys. And again, they're competing for $50 if one of those 4 drivers that are actually here tonight come home with the win.
We haven't seen it happen too many times, and when it does happen, it's a big deal. I think AJ Travato's been the master of the Dash for Cash when it comes to ORL. It seems like anytime he's got money on the line for himself, he goes out and wins it. I remember he won the Iowa race I ran, whatever season that was. He was able to win that one. He's made a lot of money from ORL, and he's trying to make a little bit more.
Yeah, and also Ray Massey, too, qualifying very well. Just put himself inside the top 5 for starting. He's been really creeping himself up towards the top. Had a okay start towards the beginning of the season, but in the later races, he's been running fairly well, consistently inside the top 10, and looking like he could be a threat. Had a really good run at Homestead, finished 3rd there.
Yeah, 1 top 5, 5 top 10s, and 11 starts. I believe he started all the races, and he has been really solid. He gained a spot in the points last week, looking to gain a few more this week as he's a bit closer to LAKATOS and Hernandez drivers ahead of him right now. He's looked really strong all season. Hasn't had the race-winning pace, in my opinion, but I think anything can happen here at Atlanta. He's been strong all year, and maybe he can finally get that win.
Yeah, we'll definitely see a lot of the guys are going to be looking forward to seeing if they can get it done. We've had 11 different winners. Am I right with saying that? No, sorry. I think 10 different winners across the 12 races that we've had so far this season. And again, looking to potentially see if we can add a 11th different winner this race. As we cut down to track side here, let's go over your starting lineup here.
It's 9 different winners, by the way.
9 different winners. Sorry, I cannot count, apparently.
I can barely count either.
Starting on pole, Brandon Bauer is starting in first in the 31. Jeff Wright second to him. Liam Sheen put himself up in 3rd place in the number 1 car. Ryan Kish in 4th in the 42. Back on your second row, Ray Massey starting in, racking your 3rd row. Ray Massey starting in 5th, and Mitchell Welker next to him in 6th. Ryan Carwell, your points leader coming to tonight, going to be starting in 7th place in the 71, with Zach Halpern in 8th in the 26 car.
And then the defending winner, well, last week's winner, not the defending winner, but last week's winner, Zachary Card, 9th alongside Bryce Calusa, who's also he's 2nd in the points in 10th. Same time as him in row 6, Hunter Johnson, AJ Travato alongside him going for the Dash for Cash. Travato, a big name in ORL. Same for Adam Cabot. He's tied for 2nd on the all-time wins list in ORL. He's alongside Jonathan Hernandez, last season's Talladega winner in the chase. Robert Gaba and Clifton Cockle share the 8th row. Clifton Cockle, 84 starts without a win. Most starts, including LAKATOS, who also has 84 starts. Rounding out the top 20, Alex Bell and Caleb Weekly, and then Charles Wimbley alongside Matthew Close, 19th and 20th.
And moving on back into 21st, find Chuck Sweeting, one of the Dash for Cash drivers, got a long way to go from the back to the front. Case LAKATOS started next to him in 2nd in the 15 machine. Steve Loving in the 18 going to be starting in 23rd, with Joshua Collins in the 76 going to be starting 24th. Back in 25th, Riley Thompson in the 56 is going to have a really far way back from the grid there, with Derek Hutton next to him in the 88 car. Jordan Ashton in the 27th place in the 27th car, and Jeremiah Vincent next to him in 28th.
And rounding out the final 3 spots, Corey Steinhauser, 29th, Michael P. Hurley in 30th, and then the final starter tonight, David Mott Jr. in 31st. The big field, 31 cars. I haven't had to talk that much for a starting lineup in a while. It's a big field tonight.
Yeah, a lot of guys showing up, I think, because they know Atlanta's going to definitely be a competitive race, and I have a lot of shot for these guys to just not only just race it out, but just have a lot of fun as well. And also, big talk, too, is going to be the track temp and taking a look at it. Track temp currently at the moment, 122 degrees. Expected to climb, I think, was 125, 126 by the time practice came to a close. And also take a look at your keys to the race for this evening. And really, a big thing's going to be... Big thing's going to be tire conservation heading around here. This track eats up tires for breakfast. So you're definitely going to want to be watching them out, trying to handle this track, especially we mentioned too, hot track, and expect it to get hotter as the day goes on. And also watching the lane changes, which lanes are going to be, again, with the big change to adding the grip strips along the high line. The guys who are ripping the top, may see some guys up there, maybe some guys on the bottom, trying to see which is not only going to be fastest, but the lanes that the passing is going to happen at as the field works their way through turns 3 and 4. Pace car going to make the turn on the pit road. We have 140 laps on tap for tonight. Brandon Bauer is going to be leading the field on down. And here we go. We're green here in Atlanta. Field rocketing their way past the start finish line to complete lap number 1. Brandon Bowers will lead it by just a nose as Jeff Wright immediately on the attack, going to throw it up the inside. There you see Bowers going up top, already trying to claim the high lane. Liam Sheen also looking towards the bottom lane to gain one more position.
We know how Jeff Wright, he knows how vital that clean air is to get at a track like Atlanta, and Bowers knows it too. He's going to dive right back to the bottom to try to get the lead back, but Wright's going to be able to pinch him down right onto that white line, and he'll get the run off. But those bumps in the middle lane, got to be careful of him. Wright washed up the track there, but he's able to keep the lead.
Yeah, he's going to try to keep it up there on the top lane. We'll see again really which lane's going to be the more preferred by drivers. I'm sure they're going to be experimenting with it all night long as these top three continue to go at it. Right in behind them, Ryan Kish trying to make work of Ray Massey with Ryan Carwell sitting in behind, and as well as Zach Halpern ripping the top lane side by side with the 16 of Mitchell Welker.
Got 3 wide in the back for about 10th. Hunter Johnson getting split by Alex Bell and Jonathan Hernandez as Bell washes up the track. Got action all over the track. 31 cars. That just means more chaos is going to ensue likely here. It's got battles all around the track. Specifically, we got 2x2. We got Mitch Welker, Zach Halpern for 7th, and for 9th, CABOT and Calusa.
Taking a look at this lead battle because it's not over yet. These guys putting up a fight, maybe arguably too early, as they're finally going to get themselves single filed out. Still looking up. I was say that for a second. There's Liam Sheen already trying to get on the court panel, trying to side draft, slow him down as he throws it up the inside.
Trying to make it where you got to be careful running the high line too early. If you run that high line or try to run that high line too early when it's not really rubbing up, you will wear the tires out way too much. That's my concern with Bowers. He's had an issue with saving those tires in the past. If he doesn't get that into the bottom, it could be in trouble. Although there are drivers making that top lane work. Halpern just slid right in front of Carwell. He might be into the outside wall. He's able to make it stick. They got a bunch of drivers trying to run the wall right now.
Yeah, Halpern trying to move his way up. Already started in 8th. He's already up into 6th as he's trying to break away from everyone else. Got 2 Ford Mustangs charging up in behind him. It's Carwell right there in the Virginia Tech machine in the 71. Trying to climb his way on forward, looking on further behind. Still some battles for position, as well as Alex Bell and Hernandez continuing their spat for 13th place, side by side for them.
Even behind them, Matthew Close has been the one who's, I think, been the most dangerous up on the high line. He's been way high on the track. He's up to 17th, just got past Robert Gaba, who's fallen back to 18th. He's now under attack from Steve Lovin. Oh, I think Stravato hit the wall. He's way slow.
Taking a look at the 33 machine, trying to see if he got any damage. I can see that right front torn in just a little bit. Now he's under attack from many drivers, all hounding him for a spot here. Going off the turn, it's the 99 of Wimbley to his inside. Trying to make it work.
Oh, Close is... Oh, boy. I thought Close was going to hit the wall. These guys are getting saved by the downforce because of how high he slid up the track. It looked like he was really going to pound the wall. Going to spinner. Hitting the inside wall down the backstretch. I don't know who that is. That's Joshua Collins, hard into the inside wall.
No caution. We'll take a look at what happened to him. Oh, looks like he just drifted up into the wall on the straightaway. Oh, went flying hard into the wall. So hard that it cemented him in there, and he's still actually not been able to get out. I think might have had, might be a sim crash, or something's gone wrong with hardware for him. So he's going to stay stuck in the inside wall. No worries, though. We're going to still remain green here as the field rockets past him.
Still seeing a bunch of issues. Ryan Carwell just really slid in turn number 3. Halpern almost, he might have had some contact with the outside wall as well. Everyone's scrambling for position. That's, oh, look at the 77 into the grass. The Lawn Tech car going into the grass. Big surprise there. My goodness.
That's what the sponsors want to see. Lawn Tech car right in the grass doing its job and going to make it work. He's going to throw, he's going to throw it in there. Going to go up top and go forward right for a split second as he's going to get steamroll there, making that dive bomb move. And now we're going to have Mitch Welker and Carwell work on past him, at least attempt to, as he's still got to work on that top lane at 77. That was a big dive.
I don't know what I expected, but it wasn't this. This is absolute chaos to start. We got to... Oh, Alex Bell! He saved that. Alex Bell got turned there by Hernandez, and they both save it.
I'm amazed he was able to hang on to that. He made that look easy. There you see the 20 and the 15, and there's Hernandez coming up just at last second. Bell managing to use the grip to keep that car going in the right direction. Still amazed that he was able to pull that off, although he's probably, heart's beating probably a little too fast for him for a moment, so he might have to take a lap or two to calm himself back down. There you see Wembley making a move on the 33 Servato in behind, but absolute action-packed midfield for these drivers.
Yeah, this has been action-packed, no doubt about it. I don't know how Bell saved that. Just looked like a racing deal. He might not be happy with Hernandez, but that's just racing. Sometimes at Atlanta, the runs you get in this package come up so fast that you sometimes just can't control it. It just comes out of nowhere. You don't think you're going to get a run on someone, and boom, you're into the left rear. You got to be very careful around these guys. These guys, sixth on back, are so packed up. It's so difficult to navigate one another for these guys.
And you're looking at Eric Hutt and Riley Thompson starting pretty far back in the field. Both of them trying to meander their way through. Both quick drivers. They got a lot of work for them to take care of. As you see, CABOT getting very close to the wall there in exit. And how about there you see the 88 of Hutton making a 3 wide up the middle. Going to take 2 for 1 down the straightaway.
This is what NASCAR wanted when they brought this package in. I'm not a fan of the package, I'll be honest, but this is what they wanted. Close-knit racing, 2 wide, 3 wide, sometimes 4 wide. This is the type of racing they want. Riley Thompson's going to go 3 wide in his own right. I'm loving. I think that's Hunter Johnson on the outside as they stay 3 wide as here comes the 27 Jordan Ashland trying to maybe make it a 4-car battle as Hutton tries to get away from all of them. It seems like everyone's trying to get single filed out, but there's still chaos happening at the back.
Yeah, still more single file action towards the front. Ryan Carley just got passed by Zach Carr in the 71, slowly starting to drop back here. Started in 7th, is dropping back to 10th, and looks like he may continue on that trajectory at the moment.
He's starting to drop back. There's a bunch of guys trying to get back up to the front. Big mover, main mover, Adam CABOT, 13th to 7th with the moves he's been making. Matthew Close, 20th to 12th. He was running the high line early on. 26th to 18th for Hutton. You got comers and goers already at this point in the race. Meanwhile, the top 6 have pretty much stayed unchanged. The leaders, Wright and Bowers, have swapped, and also Ray Massey and Ryan Kish have swapped. Other than that, the top 6 who started 1 through 6 have stayed 1 through 6.
Yeah, again, for Project 2, returning to the series, very good runs for both those cars. Ryan Kish in the 42 in 5th, his teammate. Mitch Welker right behind him in 6th. So guys returning to the series in form. Looking a little bit further back, Jonathan Hernandez, we saw him make contact with Alex Bell just a little bit earlier. He's side-by-side with the 99 car and with AJ Stravato as he's trying to work past the Waste Management 33.
Seems like the top 19 have sort of sorted themselves out. The battle for 20th is still pretty hard. Steve Loving's fallen. He's not fallen back. He's actually gained some spots, but he's going to lose some spots here. He's battling with Case LAKATOS for that 20th position as Riley Thompson's right behind him. Chuck Sweeting as well. Some guys who I thought would get through the pack, like Thompson and Sweeting, they haven't really made much progress yet.
Yeah, indeed. And also, Sakai is with a nice paint scheme. There's a bit of a story behind that. I'm going to wait till the caution to really go over the story of that paint scheme. You see in behind him some great action going on. Riley Thompson trying to fight with Chuck Sweeting in the 74 car.
Alex Bell went through the grass on Matthew Close and Bryce Calusa to make a pass. He was able to make the pass on Close, but he hasn't been able to complete it on Calusa. That's the second time already we've seen someone go into the grass to make a pass in the dogleg.
So you can cut back to it, but currently at the moment, both these cars side by side heading off into turn number 3. Bell on the inside, Calusa stuck up top. You see how many guys waiting in the wings trying to wait and make their move as Calusa going to get clear of that position. Got to look at that pass in the grass for a second. This is coming off in turn 4 last time by. Calusa getting a little bit of a door from Close, and there's Bell throwing it up the inside. Going to have to cut the dog leg just a little bit.
Yeah, it was. You don't really want to be doing that. Oh, Hutton's almost into the wall, almost contact with the 12. These guys are still really testy about 12th on back as Bell's battling with Matthew Close again. Stravato with his right front damage is getting back through the field. He's in 14th at this moment. These guys are still very packed up.
Whoa! There's Close getting loose off of turn 4. Bell going flying through the grass yet again. And man, the landscapers at Atlanta are going to be very busy after this race, I'm feeling. We're already 18 laps in. We had 3 guys make a trip through the grass. Bell keeping this car going in the right direction yet again. And you talk about sometimes you're the bat, sometimes you're the ball. And for Bell, he's been the ball twice already.
Yeah, he had nowhere to go there. Stravato, he's going to hit him again. He didn't hit, not again. He hit Close out of turn 4, and it just got that 92 way out of shape. Hernandez up the track into the 92. Here comes the 15 under him. The 92 kind of got hit down into the 15 last time by, and that time he almost got wrecked again as they're still packed up behind the 19 and 15.
And yet another pass through the grass as Stravato throws it up the inside of the quad oval, trying to make it 3 wide. There you see Hernandez, how much that top lane can rip. coming out of the corner, and you have to be very careful of the wall as it comes up on you quickly. And whoa, many cars avoiding just with the runs that they have, avoiding for position. You see Servato trying to keep his position as he comes on down to the inside.
These guys must think they're at Charlotte where there's AstroTurf. There's no AstroTurf here. Straight up grass, and that's the 4th time we've seen 3 drivers go through the grass 4 times as they're going to go 3 wide again. Not 3 wide, that's just a 75 looking to be outside of a 33. It is crazy in the mid pack. Pretty much everyone about 12th up ahead has sorted this all out now, as they're pretty much single file as Jeff Wright pulled well away from Brandon Bowers.
Yeah, NASCAR looking at chops. As you mentioned, this is exactly what they probably would have wanted. These guys absolutely going for it here in the early laps. We're only on lap 20 of 140. We still have 120 laps left to go in this race, so a lot of racing still left ahead, but these guys racing like it's the last 20 laps of the event. Also up ahead, Ray Massey getting pretty close to the back of Liam Sheen, trying to make something happen. Ryan Kish and Welker also closing in for 3rd.
Well, it's finally somewhat calm at least, so I did want to say this. I wanted to have an opportunity to say this. I believe with that pole, Brandon Bowers got the pole. He has, I believe, 10 poles in ORL now, which is the most out of anyone. He wasn't a tie with CABOT, but now he's all on his own with double digits with 10. He was only able to lead the 1 lap, but he's really been the only other one other than Jeff Wright to pull away from anyone. Liam Sheen's about, I'd say, 8/10 back, as he's still battling Ray Massey like you were talking about.
Yeah, Ray Massey now going to throw it up the inside battle for 3rd position, trying to make it work. And this is where the long run pace, it really is going to matter for a lot of these guys. You see him throwing it to the inside, just can't make it work. The fact that lane seems to be up around the middle to the top lane. Down low though, not quite there at least yet.
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult to pass on the bottom the entire race, but at the same time, if you're running the top, you're going to hurt the tire. So what do you want to do? You want to tough it out on the bottom where you're likely not going to make a pass, or you're going to run the top where you might really kill your tires and might blow a right front. We've seen it happen at tracks like Dover that are harsh on the tires. This is a track that might even be more harsh on the tires than Dover, if you can really believe that. So you really never know. You got to take care of your stuff. Oh, they're 3 wide again out of 2. That was Stravato, LAKATOS, and Charles Wembley 3 wide, as Riley Thompson, Chuck Sweeting still riding behind these guys. They have nowhere to go. If they go anywhere, they're probably going to be in the wreck.
LAKATOS looking like he's starting to make some sort of traction forward as Stravato. It's been a poor run for him so far. Was up inside the top 10 at one point, and now all the way back into 19th, looking at dropping outside of the top 20 as Riley Thompson and Wembley in behind. Charles Wembley in the 99 up top, trying to lick their chops and see if they can get one more spot.
That's how much having a little bit of damage hurts you at a track like Atlanta, where you still need aero with this high downforce package. He's into a wall. Casey LAKATOS both into the outside wall as they hit down the straightaway.
And it looks like everyone's going to avoid that, so we will stay green. Not sure what happened. Oh, it looked like Stravato, he just tapped the wall, riding and ended up collecting Casey LAKATOS. And that night going worse for Stravato in the 33.
That's from Stravato. That's not a mistake you see very often. I believe that's Gaba into the wall, but he really only tapped it. Not a mistake you see from a guy who's usually a championship contender when he runs full time. He just hit the wall in the straightaway, and poor LAKATOS had nowhere to go. It looks like the 33 got the short end of his stick there, though.
Yeah, I'm trying to look at LAKATOS' car. You can see some damage to the right rear of the wing. And even to the right front as well. I'll have to keep an eye and see if the 50 is going to be hurting from that. If Stravato's car is anything to go off, I imagine he is going to be hurting a little bit. So might want to wait to come down to pit road to fix it. Looking back a little bit further up, Zach Carr, Bryce Calusa duking out for 10th place.
Meanwhile, Stravato actually brought it down to his pit stall and just reset, so he might be calling it a day. He's not running for points, and his car is pretty hurt, so he might just be calling it a day here already.
Yeah, fortunate to see he's been running very well in the last couple of races, but it's gonna, as you mentioned, might be ending a race in the pits there for tonight early on. As you see now, Adam Cabot started throwing it up the inside. Zach Carr going way up top.
Whoa, boy!
And Calusa deciding to go middle. 3 wide. You don't usually see 3 wide form up mid corner. Well, we saw it there for a second. And Cabot all the way down on the apron. He might have a problem.
Oh! Hernandez is wrecking on the outside. Hernandez, and I think that might have been Hunter Johnson, and they save it again. I think Cabot hit the wall before. He might have been calling it a day, but they just wrecked on the outside of him.
Yes, this is Cabot. He was stuck on the inside, decided to pull down low. You're not entirely sure what's the deal there. And then these guys getting really close together, tapping fenders. And somehow we avoid yet another caution.
I don't know if someone came down or the other came up, but they definitely converged on each other, and they really didn't make too hard of contact, so they probably don't have too much damage. I think CABOT, just like Travato, was calling it a day because of the damage, but just really odd race so far. 31 cars at Atlanta. This is bound to happen, I suppose.
Yeah, and so for CABOT, I want to see if the jacks drop. Does it go? No, it's going to stay. Yeah, I'm kind of surprised. I didn't see any damage happen to the 77, but I guess it looks like he's going to be calling it an evening, which is unfortunate because his car was already fairly decent up until that point.
Yeah, he hit the wall in the middle of 1 and 2 the lap before, and he was already losing time, so I guess he thought, I'm only going for wins, there's no point, so he's going to just bow out of this one. The top 2 are gone. Jeff Wright's gone from Brandon Bowers by 2 seconds. Then it's another 1.5 seconds. The battle for third. Ray Massey, Liam Sheen, and Mitchell Welker all over each other.
Yeah, there you can see the gap. There's first, there's second, and there's that Hornet's Nest. That's a battle for third. Liam Sheen, Massey, and Welker, as you just mentioned. Massey trying to make that thing work on the inside. And I can't imagine it's going to be too good for the long run, trying to keep that car rotating down there.
We'll have to wait and see. In my opinion, it's harder to get that thing rotating on the very top because of how much... Oh, I think he barely scraped it. That's only a kiss. He'll be fine running like that, but if you hit it any harder, you're done.
Yeah, didn't even actually, I don't think got any visual damage, so Welker getting away with, not necessarily getting away with murder, but getting awfully close to it there, up on top, trying to make something work.
Oh, man. Arias Travato's in the driver's chat, not really happy with the setup, so maybe that's why those drivers called it today, not happy with the setup.
I would say the setup's working fantastically. It's been an amazing race to watch so far.
From a spectating standpoint, it's the best setup ever, no doubt about it. Maybe from the driver's standpoint, it's not, but obviously we don't know how it drives necessarily. I know how the car specifically drives, but you can make a setup crazy loose, crazy tight. You can never really... I've tried making setups perfect Road the Pro. Sometimes it just doesn't work out.
Casey LAKATOS just PM'd me a message about what happened, what we saw happen between him and I'm losing track of the driver.
AJ Servato.
AJ Servato, yes. And my big question is how on earth he managed to type that.
Maybe, I don't know, maybe the car is just not difficult to drive. I don't want to be rude, but he is 21st, and he has got damage, so it must not be too difficult to drive. If you're listening, Casey, AJ hit the wall on the straightaway. There's not much else to say about that, but you're looking good in 21st.
Yeah, and
at 27.
Casey, if you're listening, focus on the track ahead, buddy. Stop texting and driving.
You might be higher than 21st if you focus on the track. That could help you a little bit. You're going to get lapped. Jeff Wright's in turn 3, man. Hurry up.
Oh,
speaking of turns, speaking of focusing on the track, Steve Loving, he hit the wall. He pit, but he actually gets back on track, so maybe a short pit. I don't know how long the fuel is going to go here.
Yeah, let's see. So he went, he just came into the pit, so went about 30 laps, 32 laps in the tank. I think it was pretty short to me. I think you want to be going, I feel like you can go around 50, if I'm not mistaken, 50, 60. Be more closer to what I would expect these guys to be running.
With an 80% fuel tank, it might be a little lower. Maybe about 40 to 50. Maybe it might be 45 to 50, but even then, that would still be about 10, 15 laps before what we probably expect.
I think his loving might have been maybe for tires. And again, I can't imagine it. For some of these guys, the way they've been duking it out, the tires are not looking too pretty. Speaking of which, looking at Ryan Carl trying to chase down Zach Halpern for a position. Looking at trying to pass at 26, and also let's try to get a bit of a rundown as far as where our Dash for Cash drivers are at. There you see Halpern, there he's one of them, one of the higher running Dash for Cash drivers, and if I'm not mistaken, might be the highest running.
Yes, he is. I think he is he's staying in 7th. Carwell's behind him in 8th, and then the next closest would be Bryce Calusa, who is in 11th now because of Matthew Close, who passed him for 10th. Close is not a guy you usually see running through the field like this. He's gone 20th to 10th, a really strong run.
Yeah, we'll see if he can keep it there. And I imagine at this point in the run, he should be able to keep it there. I don't think he's going to completely fall off a cliff, but fingers crossed for him to keep that car going straight. AJ Servato, one of your other Dash for Cash drivers, he's retired out of this race. And the last remaining one of 3 of the 5 that we started with, again, Bailey Turner not showing up, Chuck Sweden in the 74 car, although he doesn't have the green numbers on his door and hood, so I think he might be ineligible. So we're pretty much just left with Calusa and Halpern, I think, for Dash for Cash.
I think that would, yeah, I'm pretty sure is that, excuse me, I'm pretty sure that is the rule. Caleb Weekly hit the wall, but he's all good. He's in 27th. Noticing the differing lines from the leaders, you really see it's kind of been back and forth between the leaders. Jeff Wright, last time by 1 and 2, he was on the bottom, and Brandon Bowers maybe trying something. He was on the top. Meanwhile, the battle for third, you're either running the top or you're going for a slide job like Ray Massey is. Huge dive on Liam Sheen, but he just can't make that bottom stick. They might make contact.
This run out of the corner, it's a hard thing to beat with this package. You get such a good run off, but not as much as probably Sheen would have liked. Massey's able to stick in there nicely on the bottom. He's going to try yet again, keep this car forced down under to see if he can get it done. He's been very persistent in the 23 machine. Welker, spectator in behind, trying to see how this battle plays out. Massey's going to lose that. Here comes Welker now trying to take advantage up on top.
Weekly went in, sorry, not Weekly. Eric Hutton went into a wall from 14th, but he's able to continue. Caleb Weekly pits as this battle still continues. It's part of momentum racing. If you don't get the momentum off the corner, you're going to lose so much time. Think to the big tracks, not specifically Atlanta, but Michigan, what is it, Auto Club, Michigan and Auto Club. Those are tracks where if you're not getting the momentum out of a corner, you're going to lose a bunch of time. And draft is important too. The draft is so important in this high downforce package. You got Liam Sheen getting a bit of a bubble draft from Mitch Welker. Welker's getting a draft from Sheen. And those two kind of working together to kind of box Ray Massey down to that bottom line, which probably get Welker a position and probably a chance at Liam Sheen if they don't run up for the corner.
Yeah, getting very close quarters. Another thing with this package, you can get very close to a lot of people for a long amount of time. Could be good, could be bad. We'll have to see as they're, again, still scrapping for position. Welker looking almost like he wants to go middle 3 wide. Just no hole to place that car at the moment. Still Massey and Sheen duking out for third. Can't imagine that's necessarily doing too good for them on the timesheets. Wright looking at last time by 32.7 for him. Everyone else, a lot of these guys in behind running in the 32.9. So Wright setting the timesheet ablaze. See Liam Sheen with a big block up top, ran really wide, maybe 2 wide. Here comes Massey, who's half a car length ahead of the 1 machine. Might have a chance to throw it into 1 and try to make it stick.
The 1 shoves it in hard as well, trying to get the push from Welker to stay in front of his 23 machine. But Ray Massey, so many laps he's been down there, he might finally have it. He does clear Liam Sheen. I think Sheen has no choice but to stay right behind him.
He's going to try, had a little bit of a run, not enough to work with, though, down into turn 3. So Massey finally going to get that 3rd place position after duking out for quite a few laps. I want to say the last 20 laps he's been trying to work on making that pass happen. He's been finally able to get it done. Now Welker up to bat in 4th place.
It looks like it might have been Liam Sheen who wore his tires out a bit too much, as he's really, even though he's trying to defend on the outside, which is easy to defend on, it just looks like he's struggling. Matthew closes into a wall. Bryce Calusa makes contact with him to keep it straight. That could have been the wreck as well.
Man, the flagman's probably going to get bored at this point. You've had many close quarters. There you see this 92 hitting the wall, getting a tap to the 20. We'll try to see if we can get a better angle on that. But he's been a lot of close calls. No exact throwing of the yellow just yet. Whew.
Yeah, that was definitely a close one. Meanwhile, through all of that, I think Mitch Welker did get clear of Liam Sheen, so put Sheen back in the 5th, and he's really cooked the tires.
And the one thing Sheen had going for him was really the fact that he had a lot of clean air. Losing a lot of time was about 3 seconds back from Bowers. But now that as soon as he got put in behind Massey, he was trying to defend from Welker. He almost went up in the wall trying to continue what he was doing just due to the dirty air and having worn up his tires. So he's going to start struggling now. He's not even able to get anywhere close to the back of Welker and Massey again. He's just been hoping and praying and waiting for a chance to get himself down a pit road. I hear a car is inside, and that's a car that I think is taking fresh tires.
Caleb Weekly who just went by him. Now he's going by Welker and
he's going to be driving through like the field standing still. Take a look down into turn 3 and 4. You're going to see the difference. Look at him flying on past Welker and Massey. It's almost like a different class of car as he works his way on through the inside.
We got a pitter, Ryan Kitch from 6. He's going to be one of the first guys up in the top 10 to pit. Can he make it down to pit road? A tough pit road to get on. He does it cleanly.
Yes, this is what I think might start bringing down people down to pit road. So 42 going to potentially kick off the pit road sequence, and pretty much right as you mentioned, you were talking about these guys coming in lap 45, lap 50. You're pretty much right on the money. Guess I should expect
Here
that
comes
from
Wright.
you.
Here comes Jeff Wright. Leader's going to come in, so it looks like it's going to be maybe 2-3 stops as Wright's going to come in. Bowers does not. Really no one else comes in. Liam Sheen, Zach Halpern. This is going to bring everyone else in. I think Matthew Close is coming in. Hunter Johnson as well. This is a majority.
Sheen waiting for the high sign to come down to pit road, and then pretty much with Kish in the leader. I think that's exactly the signal he wanted to see. So green flag, pit stop starting here in Atlanta. 45 laps into the run, just about of a third of the way through the race. So right on target for a lot of these drivers. Brandon Bowers continuing out on the track right there in the 31. You can see him working through 3 and 4, coming down, slowing down as he'll make the turn. There you see Welker flying on through, Massey, Carwell, everyone coming in, and Welker with a big mistake, going to go off the track.
Oh my God!
Off of pit road.
And Carwell, I think, sped as well. Oh, Robert Gabba, he came in fast. No way, here comes Riley Thompson. He hits the cone. Okay, well, the first group did, and we had about 3 or 4 penalties to sort out there, I think.
All right, so we'll take a look as they come. Here's Mitch Welker. He's going to go flying on through, going out on the grass. There you see Mike Carwell trying to bring it on down, and Riley Thompson. You mentioned he was...
went fantastic. Here comes Riley Thompson, and not even close.
And even Robert Gabatu up ahead, he had a bit of a lockup. So I imagine these guys probably didn't practice green flag pit stops, some of them.
Not enough.
You typically don't. You usually may get quite a good green flag run, but there's very few times that you do end up getting that. And Carwell's down on pit lane for quite a while, and
Carwell is
trying to look at Thompson, so is Mitch Welker. No, Welker actually didn't. I don't think he got a penalty.
That is amazing if he didn't. I'm trying to find him.
Because that should be a penalty when you go through that. That should be a stop and hold, right? That's not going to be a come back down.
If he did it on exit, it would be if you'd have to come back.
Yeah.
See how long his pit stop. I think his pit stop was
14 seconds.
Clean.
Yeah, it was only 14 seconds. That's why I'm surprised. So he got away with murder right there.
Yes, he did. Meanwhile, the other people trying to get away with stuff is Alex Bell, who is the leader right now, trying to play a long game, long strategy, trying to stay out. Jeremiah Vincent, Chuck Sweeting, David Mott Jr., Michael Hurley, Corey Steinhauser, Case LAKATOS, Jonathan Hernandez, Charles Wimbley. About 9 drivers left to pit already, trying to catch a caution. I think Bell might be coming this time. Yes, he is.
Yeah, I'm surprised we honestly didn't get a caution coming down a pit lane as much as a guy sliding on through. So big mistakes for many drivers coming down a pit lane. I'm still amazed that Welker got away with that.
Oh, Hurley, I don't know if he's getting away with that. He might hit the inside wall on pit road. He's able to save it, but he hit the cone.
Yeah, poor cone, not getting enough respect down here. Here's Hurley coming down on the pit lane, trying to slow it down. The car going straight as he locks it up. Slams the cone. I think he should be good. I think speeding is going to potentially be his enemy here. If he got bought for that, also had trouble getting actually stopped in his box, so he will continue on with that. Looking at David Mott Jr. in the number 4 machine, staying out on the track, currently running in 3rd. And everyone else blowing on by him with fresh rubber. Leading all of the pits is no surprise is Jeff Wright. Highest driver of the ones who come on down. Liam Sheen, Brandon Bowers all the way back in 3rd. Well, I shouldn't say all the way back in 3rd, but back in 3rd once they cycle out, as Liam Sheen's been able to get past him on the track. Ray Massey back there. Halpern, and there's Welker. And I imagine this is a potential time lost of him trying to get that car back onto pit lane itself. Although could have lost a lot more time had he gotten the black flag. Speaking of which, looking at Riley Thompson now 2 laps down, trying to get... Whoa, hello, 4 wide. Oh, they're wrecking, spinning out of turn 4. No!
Gabba!
Gonna door him, gonna go flying up to the wall.
And that's gonna be a yellow.
There it is.
That is huge because we still had people who didn't pit. Chuck Sweeting's going to rotate to be the leader. LAKATOS as well. That is huge for the strategy.
And here we go. 4 wide, different cars and different tire strategies. Mid-corner, LAKATOS tapping weakly, and then Gabba trying to save his car. Went flying down into weakly to finish him off and stop on the straight.
So Jeff Wright barely missed Gabba. That might have been okay. A little bit of netco between the 2 cars that initially hit. I guarantee Jeff Wright knows what's happening, and he knows it's not good right about here.
Yeah. You hear him get off the gas. Where do you go? Where do you go? Gonna pick down low. Oh, boy.
Oh. My goodness. That is a very big miss there. As we had, that was chaos. 4 wide at Atlanta is just... I've actually made it work before, but you need some of the best drivers to make it work, and it's usually not going to end well.
And winner chicken dinner for 2 drivers who decided to stay out long enough. It worked out for them. 74 Chuck Sweeting and the 50 of Casey LAKATOS going to be the beneficiaries from staying out, running 1st and 2nd at the moment. And Jeff Wright back in 3rd as the field still racing back around, trying to get themselves sorted out as the caution has flown for the first time this evening.
Jeremiah Vincent had just pit from the lead lap, and he hit the cone, so I think he would have had a good shot at being the leader because he would have been able to stay out likely. But then again, I don't think he was getting lapped by Jeff Wright. He would have had a good shot, but They just, oh, we got a spin on pit road. Steve Loving spun into pit road under yellow.
Oh man, pit road, yeah, even under yellow pit road.
My
Oh
goodness.
God!
Whoa!
Oh
Let's see
man,
this
pit road
here.
has been a struggle for
Trying to
some
catch
drivers
up.
tonight. There's Calusa. These are these guys trying to catch back up to the
Oh,
field
Calusa
under
penalty.
caution. They see Calusa to nail the yellow cone, and Loving spinning out on pit lane. Oh
That
boy.
is- This is not. That's not exactly something I've ever really seen before. Chuck Sweeting's gonna get off first.
Listen,
It's like Zachary Carr might have gotten out second.
listen. Pit road. So this track's so loose, it's even loose coming down pit lane. Apparently.
My goodness, apparently so. I mean, it is a tough pit lane to get to, no doubt about it. It's just I've never seen everyone in a row mess it up. You usually see one or two at a time, but that one sequence is just okay. That guy hit the cone. That guy's in the grass. That guy hit the inside wall. It's crazy. Usually, it is something you would practice right before a race because you're not going to get much temperature change. So you might as well practice it. It'll feel just like it does. It's just very interesting that so many people made the same mistakes.
Yeah, and I imagine they're gonna want to learn from that mistake. So, what I guess I wasn't planning on pulling up this right this minute. So we're talking about Casey LAKATOS. Actually, pull this away just for a second. Talking about Casey LAKATOS, his paint scheme. Wanted to get a chance to get this in before we go back green. Mentioned he had a special paint scheme for tonight. I already spoiled the surprise just a little bit, but taking a look at that paint scheme. So he's running. Typically, LAKATOS, as the theme for the season, has been running paint schemes based off of drivers from the Grid Life Touring Car Championship. Running the drivers in that series running their paint scheme, and one of the schemes he's picked for this evening is specifically on a Honda Odyssey, and there's the exact car that he's replicating right there. And yeah, that car officially runs in that series. It's power to weight and runs pretty okay. It's a bit tough because you imagine the thing is a tank essentially. It has the aerodynamic properties of a brick. But the driver behind it does pretty decent when the car has been able to show up on track. I don't know how it's been running since COVID started. I don't think it's been able to see the action on the track a whole lot, but there's a paint scheme that LAKATOS has on his car tonight. Very nice looking paint scheme in general, and also just really fun the fact that it's replicating a Honda Odyssey.
It is funny. It's a nice paint scheme. Not when you know something about the paint schemes that he runs. He definitely thinks outside the box, and it definitely works a lot of the time because it does look pretty sporty. Too bad he has some damage on that car. He's not even paying attention in front of his windshield. He's texting and driving, but all in all, it's been a decent race.
All right, so as we sort everything out here, so we didn't have every single driver come down onto pit lane last time by. Notably, Mitch Welker, Ryan Kish, Matthew Close, and Jonathan Hernandez all electing to stay out on the track. And on that pit road sequence, surprisingly, Chuck Sweeting and Casey LAKATOS ended up losing positions. They fell back to 10th and 12th, respectively, it seems.
Well, LAKATOS had damage to repair. Maybe Sweeting had the same thing, but it's definitely going to be interesting to see what these drivers on older tires do.
Yes, you're right. They did spend extra time in their pit stall to fix that, it seems. So that's the reason why they dropped back. So Welker and Kish up in front. So curious to see now. So Liam Sheen, the highest driver with fresh tires, or sorry, I should say Jeff Wright. Should be the highest driver with fresh tires right next to him on the inside lane. So interested in seeing if 5 to 6 laps difference on tires, if that's going to be anything or worth anything for these drivers here. Guess we'll find out.
These are drivers that have been up at the front. Welker and Kish. Hernandez has been quick. Close made his way through the back to the top 10. This is going to get interesting.
Indeed it is. Pace car in, and here we go. We're back green here in Atlanta. Welker leading them on down. Already big strap for position 3 wide as Hernandez throwing it up the middle, trying to get a spot close to the inside, and Kish being thrown to the outside to dry as everyone's scrapping for a position down the back straight. Here we go, 4 wide down the back straightaway into turn 3. This isn't going to work. Oh, there's Kish getting put into the wall. Sheen dooring him in there. Field scrapping position, some drivers down on the apron, trying to keep it down. There's a 12 getting sideways hard in front of Calusa, and the caution flies yet again.
That was bound to happen. Oh, and at the very end, who was that? I think that was Jeremiah Vincent at the very end hit someone very hard. That was brewing right when the start. They went 3 wide before they even got to turn 1. We saw that coming. That was never going to work.
Yeah, I guess kind of glad we had the caution come out because that restart was a lot to unpack So let's try to get through it. So there we go. There was that 3 wide we saw near the beginning, and even in behind too. We saw them already packing up 3 wide. And this is coming onto the back straightaway right here. Everyone decided to go for spots. There you see Brandon Bowers with a big move to the inside, trying to make something work. Everyone just got squeezed 4 wide.
That was just right.
Yeah, and this track might be wide enough for it, but not for too long. There you see the 12. I'm curious on how on earth he got down there.
He overcorrected, and Calusa had nowhere to go. LAKATOS got some damage. Mott Jr. got through it. The 10 of Weekly spun to get around it. Jeff Wright made a very aggressive move going forward. I don't even know if he was going. He knew he was going 4 wide. Puts the 42 hard into the wall. Hunter Johnson tried to make a move on the apron on Zach Halpern. There's no grip down there, and he just can't collect it. Calusa has nowhere to go.
Right on board with Calusa as well.
It was him who got hit at the very end. Someone got hit at the hard very end by Vincent.
Calusa's view of it. Trying to just pick a lane, just trying to sort himself out. 12 spinning in front of him. Yeah, just nowhere to go, really.
I think LAKATOS hit him there. Mott Jr., that's who you saw fly by.
Right on board with Brandon Bowers on his wild restart here. Take a look at his elevator move, top to bottom from the outside lane. Decided, I got a good enough run. Actually tapped the 2 a little bit because he's trying to make a run down there. And here's the 4 wide right up in front of him. There you see Close hitting the 2, hitting the 1, hitting the 42.
And that works well for Bowers. He got in front of Jeff Wright there, and Jeff Wright has some damage on both fenders.
And to cut back to the field as they're pacing yet again. So Welker, Hernandez, Bowers, Wright, Sheen, your top 5 after that restart. Second caution coming out fairly quickly.
Kind of saw that coming with how the first 20 laps went. There was no way it was going to be any better.
Yeah, that was I think that was hectic in maybe all the wrong ways, arguably.
Definitely all the wrong ways.
Jeff Wright. Oh, wait, whoop. He's back.
Oh. He hit the wall under yellow. It looked like he blinked in and out.
Yeah, he was, I think, lost connection there. It looks like he's back.
Is he going to pull off? No, he's
he
just on the apron.
Might be trying to sort some stuff out. Hopefully everything's okay for him. You always hate to see guys running really well, and it's the internet that, like, kicks out on them last second and just ruins their run. We've seen it many times with Joshua Banks.
Yeah.
He's been notorious for having a lot of issues. Probably lost quite a few wins with that issue happening.
Blinky Banks is his nickname for a reason.
Although it's been significantly better as of late, the races that he's run. He's been pretty much able to sort that out. As Jeff Wright still running on the apron. I think he's got a tie. Maybe just trying to save fuel. Who knows?
They only went about 55 laps at 50 to 55 laps at best on a tank of fuel, and at this rate, it's probably one stop regardless, but you just really never know. And meanwhile, the more this happens, the more retirements we're going to get. Joshua Collins, AJ Stravato, Adam Cabot, I think Robert Gaba's done, Hunter Johnson's done, Jeremiah Vincent is on pit road. He's pretty destroyed, so about 6 or 7 retirements already.
Oh, Jeff Wright, he's flashed out again. We'll see if he comes back. And typically, if you don't flash back within a few seconds, you're most likely gone for good if he's back.
Will he keep a spot, though? Because sometimes they will. They might, because sometimes when you have issues that bad, they will EOL you, because it will mess up the order. So it's going to move up a row. I think it's going to move up the outside row. So Ray Massey should restart 4th if Wright doesn't come back, and it doesn't look like he's going to come back. His pings in the 2000s, his qualities at 68, it's not looking good. He's
been gone for quite a while. That might have been permanent there. And again, you absolutely hate to see it after such a good run this season for the 2 in general. Race winner. Looking to get win number 2.
He could have won so many. He really dominated Vegas, just couldn't close the deal there. And he looked dominant today. Had damage, but still looked fast after the damage in turn 3 there. And he's probably not going to come back into it if he's laps down. But this is definitely going to be a whole new race without the 2 car in the field.
Yeah, we'll see who's going to pick up the scraps now. Dominant car gone for the moment. And we'll see now who's going to be the one to dominate the second half of this race. Pace car in. Field in control of Mitchell Welk for the second time. We're back green here in Atlanta. There go side by side. Brandon Bowers and Hernandez through turns 1 and 2. Liam Sheen trying to get a good run off of them in front, seeing if he may have a run to go 3 wide. Does he elect to do so? No, he's going to stay put. There's a big run up top. That's from Ray Massey in the 23, but nowhere for him to go.
Right, reconnects. Who's that? Way up the track, 3 wide in the very back. That's Steve Loving up the track. He's able to gather back up as everyone more orderly on that restart. I think they realize they can't go 3 and 4 wide. They can't make that work, so they'll get a bit more organized as Mitchell Welker tries to hold off pretty much the entire field.
It's going to be a hard thing to do for Welker. It's just a matter of keeping that track position, making everyone eat your dirty air, and checking out from the field, similar to what we saw with Wright. There's Zach Carr doing an elevator move, top to bottom for him into 3. Liam Sheen trying to keep that car pinched down so he can rock it around the middle.
Can't make it work on the bottom. Welker's up the track. I think he's on old tires. Bowers has fresh tires. Here comes the 31 to the bottom.
Yeah, he's got fresher tires to work with here and trying to make them work as he's going to throw it to the inside here in turn 1. Going to take the lead.
And we'll see. He was definitely the second best car by a mile. We'll see if he can pull away with this one. His car still trying to get the run on the top. Can't make it work. They single file out. Pretty much 6 rows, 6 lanes deep as Hutton's going to go to the bottom under the 37th car.
Yeah, how about Hutton too, taking advantage of the caution, getting himself some really good track position up back near the front of the field where he probably should have started. And the same thing too with Chuck Sweden. Started 24th up into 8th, trying to make some noise here in the 74. He's also running really well in the points. 3rd coming into this race. He's going to be taking 3 wide. Split even on the outside and inside as Halpern and Bell rocking around him. Halpern, a man on a mission.
Already getting more spread out than it did the first run. At least the leader's getting away a bit quicker. Fresh tires, clean air. That 31's going to be pretty much
gone. Sorry, Hutton going to check up a little bit, almost take out the 37 of Carr. Everyone else scrambling, trying to overtake for position.
I think that was Bell into the grass again. He knows how to make it work, so might as well try it again. Chuck Sweeting's loose off the bumper of close. He's able to save it.
Oh boy. These guys getting loose in the middle of the corner. Like, amazing how they're able to hold on. So Sweeting's going to continue on through, but he's going to be back in 13th. Back up front, though, Liam Sheen trying to hold off Welker. Welker on older tires, struggling at the moment. He's got the oldest tires in the field by about 5 to 7 laps, and is definitely not doing him any favors, if not explicitly hurting him at the moment. Here comes Zach Carr trying to make work of him.
He's trying to wait until they even out. If those tires even out, oh, we got a big squeeze at the back. Steve Loving almost in the air cutting. They're all able to save it, and no one hits the wall. Welker's really trying to wait until those tires even out. When those tires even out, he'll be at decent pace. He might even be able to pull away from some of these guys. But until then, he's going to be out to lunch here, and Zach Carr's going to fly around the outside.
The car going to try to rock it around out of turn 4. Not quite clear. Welker able to use some side draft, get a run on that inside lane. He's not done yet with the 37.
He really has nothing to fight with on the bottom. His car's just going to use that seam to his advantage and easily clear Mitchell Welker as he's going to have nowhere to get up as Liam Sheen's going to fill the line on the top. Halpern and Hernandez trying to do the same.
Yeah, Halpern with a big run down the straightaway. Going to have to wait in the wings, see what happens. Liam Sheen going to use the outside lane, going to make it look easy as it come off of turn 4. Going to get very close to that wall. Here comes Halpern as well, side by side with the 16.
3 wide in the back for, I believe, around 12th as Matthew Close goes 2 for 1 on the straightaway by Chuck Sweeting and Steve Loving, but now he's into the wall.
Yeah, Close has been struggling pretty. He's been getting awfully close to that wall. Oh. Ooh, and there's a tap from Casey LAKATOS to the 18 of Loving, trying to get a run. LAKATOS losing some speed down the straightaway with that move. And sorry, I'm trying to see who that is. That's Riley Thompson. I was trying to take a look at here. 1 lap down after, remember, he had some trouble down a pit lane that put him an extra lap down, trying to recover back from that. Currently in 20th.
Speaking of laps down, Jeff Wright is back on track. He is 25th, 4 laps down, and with other drivers on track laps ahead of him, it's going to be difficult to get any of those laps back. And another internet issue, Charles Wimbley disconnected from the session because of his connection, so that's a second issue with internet for a driver tonight.
Yeah, unfortunate to see back up front. Battle getting awfully close. Here comes Ray Massey chasing down the 31.
Trying to get there. We haven't seen Massey really challenge even Bowers. We saw the 2 not get challenged. Even Brandon Bowers has not been challenged for second at all, but he's getting reeled in here. That 23 is making it work. And Zach Carr, where did he come from? P3 trying to make it work as well as they're side by side for 6. Mitch Welker holds off Alex Bell.
Yeah, for the moment, Bell working that inside lane. We've been seeing it's been tough to make something happen down there. Here comes Jordan Ashland throwing it up the inside. Going to get 1, maybe 2 here as he's trying to get side by side with Welker.
He has nowhere to get up in front of the 15, though. Can't make a slide job work. Bell's going to get side drafted and try to get back even with him into turn number 1.
Whoa, and Bell almost door checking him down into turn 1. Not sure that was on purpose or just read the corner wrong, but Ashland's still going to throw it down there to the inside of Welker. He's going to lose a ton of speed off the corner.
Hutton's into the outside wall. Here comes Steve Loving. He's able to avoid him. Hutton, I think, got squeezed there. He's got left front damage as well. Oh, no, he just hit it on his own. Ooh, 3 times separately. He hit it pretty hard, too, and Hutton's going to come down pit road. Maybe he'll call it a day.
Yeah, we'll see. It's unfortunate to see after looking like he's going to have a really good run there for a second. And we'll see if this car decides to pit and get back out on the track or what happens. Meanwhile, for the lead, Ray Massey's just about to take it. How about that? Going to throw the 31 almost into the wall. He's going to do an elevator move. He's going to try to get down to the bottom. Bowers is not giving it up.
I don't think Bowers was happy with that slide job. He didn't like it. I don't think he was very clear, but Massey made it work. But Bowers is going to make the bottom work for it in a moment. He can't clear Massey, though. Now Massey has the advantage. He can pitch him however he wants.
Bowers is going to lead the lap by just by a nose. Massey up on top, arguably the better lane. Lap the same. He seemed to be a lot better on the later runs. We'll see how it's going to work now. 23 trying to build up on momentum. We'll see what Bowers can do because he's been really putting up a fight.
He can't do anything about it. Ray Massey, huge run out of turn number 2. That's what he used that top for. 23 car to the lead.
And dominating fashion as well. We'll see if Bowers has anything to answer about that. If he can just try to stick out of the air, maybe make something work, but also got to worry. This 37 Zach car, haven't seen him really near the front. Started in 9th. He's been running around the middle of the top 10. Now finally can stretch his legs, put that car in the top 3, and maybe even more. We'll see if this Camaro can get to the front. As we got Mustang, Ford, Toyota, and Chevy. Your
There
top
you go.
3.
Yeah, one thing I'm noticing, we all know clean air is important, but one thing I'm noticing from the top 3, clean car, clean car, clean car. And then you get the 4th, about a second back, Zach Halpern, a bit of front end damage. Then Liam Sheen, he has a little bit of front end damage. Mitch Welker is fairly clean. Bell has damage. Ashland looks clean. It's not just a battle for clean air or tires, it's a battle for who can keep their car the cleanest right now.
Yeah, and again, we've seen a lot of the cars that have been getting that damage, as you mentioned, really struggling in the long run. Here's Liam Sheen trying to battle with some guys. He's been slowly dropping through the order. And Alex Bell trying to get the spot on of Jordan Ashton, also waiting on the wings.
These guys are all packed up. Mitch Welker's on the top, and no one can really do anything on the bottom. The only thing you can do is go higher than what the 16's doing, which is what Sheen and Alex Bell are trying to do, but that top lane is just too dominant. Nothing going on the very bottom as Bell's going to try the bottom. He has a huge run on Liam Sheen. Looks like Liam Sheen, he's a big amount of left front damage. He might be down on power or something. I don't know where he got that damage from.
Yeah, he's struggling at the moment here. You saw how many cars just blew past the one machines. As Sheen going to have to drop back in behind the 19 and Jonathan Hernandez for 9th place.
Top 2 stay right next to each other. Car just can't close in. Bell's going to still try the bottom on Jordan Ashland, but the 15 can't get to the white line. Ashland gets to run out of turn number 4 as they're both behind Mitchell Welker as Ashland clears him, and they're going single file again. They are side by side for about 12. Steve Love and Case LAKATOS getting pushed by Brian Carwell and Riley Thompson.
And you're talking about for Welker just waiting for the tires to even out. Looks like he's kind of reached that point, been able to stabilize back in 5th. I don't quite see him being able to really make up a whole lot of ground, though. He's a second out from Zach Halpern in 4th place. So for Welker, it's a matter of just kind of running where you are at the moment. And I mean, for the most part, I think it's kind of worked out for him, pretty much around where he was when he came in last time for pit stops.
We had a wreck in the turn number 3. Steve Loving, Ryan Carwell, Case LAKATOS in the turn number 3. Something happened. The 50's got even more damage.
This is leading up to it and flying through on the back straight. They see the 18 get in the wall and getting into LAKATOS. Man, he's just not been able to catch a break in this 50 machine.
That is the second time that has happened. Just look at what Eric Hutton's doing with Stravato and Cabot. Got a bit of a conga line going on under green flag conditions here. Get those cameras on the 88 and the 7733. This is great. I don't know what is it. I don't know what it is, but it's funny.
Yeah, it looks like these guys doing a bit of a pace lap around the inside.
As long as they don't bring out a yellow.
I wonder if maybe this is in protest, I guess. I don't know.
I don't think either of them were happy with the setup, so maybe I don't know what type of protest this is, but
well, I think it's safe to say we've seen a little bit of everything here from Atlanta.
We've seen a lot. And there it is. Adam Cabot just got removed from the server, and I assume Eric Hutton and AJ Stravato are next. There goes Stravato, and I believe Eric.
At least I will say at least they're not bringing out a caution, so I'll give them that. So As the race continues on, though, I'm sure definitely Massey doesn't want to see a caution come out. He's a half a second up from Brandon Bowers. He's been able to build a little bit of a gap. And even for Zach Carr, I was curious to see if he can get up there, maybe have a mix with the two. But looks like he's stalled out at the moment in about that 5 to 7/10 of a second gap with the arrow wash. So he's kind of stabilized himself out in third, as has most of the field, it seems, for this run.
This is what happens. That's why we see these restarts are so crazy, because that's pretty much all you're going to get. You have 10-15 laps when the tires are pretty fresh and pretty clean to make up track position, and after that, everyone pretty much stabilizes out, and it's going to be insanely hard to pass, and that dirty air is going to be difficult to get by.
There you saw Ray Massey ripping past the camera race leader and the gap to everyone else in behind. Got 17 cars on the late lap, last of which is Bryce Calusa, and he's gone from having a pretty decent day to struggling quite a bit. Started in 10th, up back into 17th, just trying to limp this car home. And also trying to take a look where on earth is our points leader coming into tonight. Alright, Carl running in 12th. Not quite the best of runs for the 71, but I mean, he's been Mr. Consistent, so let's see if he can bring it back up there a few more spots. But it's been a really good points haul for Carlisle all season long.
Yeah, it's been a big mix-up in points for a bunch of drivers. Carlisle, he'll keep the points lead because of Calusa's misfortune, but it's definitely been a race for survival, no doubt about it. As the 18 is gonna, 18 I think has pulled off track after the incident, as everyone's just scrambling to keep their cars clean. That outside wall, so easy to get into when you're ripping the top like the majority of the field is pretty much everyone's on the top, about 8th to 1st. Really not many people trying to make the bottom work. The first one trying to make it work right now is actually Carlisle himself. Still trying to get by Matthew close, but just can't make it work.
There you see Ashton all the way up top. You see Carlisle all the way on the bottom. There you can see Matthew close just offset into the right-hand side. Get that one up the corner. It's so hard to overcome, especially stuck on that inside, but Carlisle's continuing to try.
There's no reason not to try. There's no one behind him. You're not going to get by him unless you just want to run through him, which, looking at Matthew closes your bumper, maybe he's done it a few times. But either way, it's so hard to get that car rotated if you miss that white line. People are trying to middle, but it's just, there hasn't been any grip down there, which is not what we're accustomed to seeing. Usually Atlanta, before the grip strips, you really just could not do anything on the top, and now it's kind of the opposite, where it's just really hard to make that bottom line work.
Yeah, you can try to make it work, but you have to be a little bit aggressive. We've seen a few guys cut the other driver off, almost put someone into the wall on entry. Well, they've been closely getting that pass done. Here's Carlisle again trying that inside lane, hoping that the arrow wash is just open up a gap. Can't quite put the car back in between Liam Sheen and close there. Speaking of Liam Sheen, this car was up near the top, fighting in the top 3 now, back in 10th, and might be losing some more spots here for Sheen. It's gone from pretty good to okay so far this race.
He was definitely in line for a top 3, definitely a top 5, and that yellow came out and it just really derailed everything. He got damage from that incident in turn number 3, and it looks like he hasn't had a chance to really repair the car, because you see the left front tire sort of sticking out from the fender.
Yeah, and is it just the damage that you think that's hurting him, or do you think that something else is going wrong with the one?
Well, I can't remember if he... I feel like I don't even remember if he actually pit. I believe he pit when the yellow came out, but yeah. It is a lot of damage. Sometimes, there's times in iRacing when you can only have sort of minimalistic damage and you will be down horsepower. He could be down horsepower, but he's definitely down aero. And in these high downforce races, you need all the aero you can get. So if you even tap that wall, get a little right front quarter panel damage, you're pretty much toast.
So these guys continue to scrap for position. Ooh, you see Close get a piece of the wall there. He's been flirting with that outside wall all day long. And Carl finally able to clear him with that mistake from the 92 up to 11 for the 71 machine. And up ahead, Jonathan Hernandez has been working on the back of Alex Bell. Bell, who's lost touch with Ashland, a driver he was racing with a little bit earlier on, starting to fall back.
Another driver using that outside lane exclusively to his advantage for defense, and Hernandez trying to make that bottom line work, but you don't gain enough in the center compared to what you lose on exit. It's not enough right now but especially in turns 3 and 4, it's just not really working. Actually, it looks better in 3 and 4 than it does 1 and 2, so excuse me, but in 1 and 2, it just really looks like he's struggling as... Oh, so that's a hit. Riley Thompson just missed pit road again. I think he might have taken a wave around or something, or maybe he's just giving up as he's still going through the grass.
Yeah, I imagine there's been a lot of frustration for the 56 car. He started near the back, and he's been kind of struggling ever since. See here, it was a late commitment down into pit lane.
Not a penalty, but you're gonna lose a bunch of time. I think he did want to pit, but he just missed it. You might as well just go through.
And so Riley Thompson can continue on the apron, get back up to speed, try to pit next time around. But yeah, it's just been a miserable day for the Thompson machine. Taking a look back at our leaders, there's Ray Massey. Look at that gap. He's been able to expand it to 1.7 seconds, similar to what we saw Wright being able to pull off earlier in the evening. There's Massey coming on through, Brandon Bowers, and Zach Carr still chasing him in tow. Even Halpern's closed up quite a bit. He's been the fastest car actually the last few laps by about a tenth or so over the guys up in front of him. So he's been saving up his stuff here toward the later part of the run. Speaking of which, could be expecting pit stops probably in about 10 laps time.
Yeah, Ray Massey was a bit faster, but Zach Halpern was still he's matching the pace with the leader in dirty air. So that 26, if he can get some clean air, he'd be pretty fast. It just looks like no matter who the leader is, you're in good shape. If you're even, you could probably take Chuck Sweeting, Ryan Carwell, guys outside the top 10, and they'd probably be good with clean air because it's a 10th difference once the tires were out, it seems like. It's just that big of a deal to get clean air. 32.4 compared with 32.8 from Bowers, who's in the dirty air, Bryce Calusa. It just makes that big of a difference if you have clean track.
And for Halpern, it's not been the best of season so far as you see him rocket around the 20 of Calusa. Just the difference in pace there as he gets past the 37 of Carr. For Halpern, the season's been kind of one to forget. He's only been running part-time, so only started 4 races before this evening. And of those 4 races, his highest finish is 3rd, which seems like it's pretty good. That was at Talladega. His next highest finish was 19th. So it's not been too particularly good of a run for the 26, but so far at Atlanta, it's been working out pretty well. Rocket past the 37 of Carr. Let's see if he can get second here on the 31 of Brandon Bowers.
He just hasn't had the luck, and even in the leagues I run with him, like VRL, he just does not have any luck in any league he runs, and it's just always, he always struggles to get top 10 just because he always finds damage somewhere. It's just that type of way for Halpern. But 61 races without a win. Last win, I believe, was season 2 in Homestead, and he's only made 41 starts since then, but it's still been a long streak for him. He has the speed to do it. It's just a matter of sort of like Daniel Hemrick. Can he get the luck that he needs to win one of these things?
Yeah, that's, I think, really the biggest thing, as I mentioned. Just he's definitely a car that has the pace. You saw that 1 year Downey Enterprise is on fire with Tim Downey Jr. taking home the championship. Halpern not too terribly off of his teammate that season, but yeah, ever since then, that's really where that team peaked, and even Halpern as a driver peaked. He's been definitely getting there, but yeah, the luck has not been quite there so far as he's trying to build up a run here on the 31 battle for second place. One of the closer battles on the track. Actually, there's one a little bit closer than that. Alex Bell and Jonathan Hernandez duking out for 7th place.
Bell's still trying to make that bottom work, and here comes, there's Riley Thompson on fresh tires. He is back in the race, and he's good. That's just what fresh tires mean. He's about 2 seconds faster than those guys, and you see what Riley Thompson is doing. That should probably bring people to notice how much fresh tires matter. As Hernandez washes way up the track, almost hits the wall, he has to lift, and here comes Bell, I believe, to get that position back.
Yeah, you can see just like in the outside lane, it can give you a lot, but it'll take away a lot if you're not careful and almost put it in the wall like you saw with Hernandez. Now the switch over, Bell gonna rip the top lane, Hernandez down on the bottom, and look at the run off the back straightaway off of turn 2. As Bell solidifies himself in 7th place. Back for position here. We see how he actually just missed it. We'll take a look back at it as Halpern was able to take the spot away from Brandon Bowers.
You got to run on him. Bowers doesn't really he hasn't been running the top too much, but he had to use it trying to defend the 26. But Halpern's done such a good job, saving his tires that he's able to make moves like that. Didn't even really need to slide drop him. Easily had that 31 cleared as Bowers almost bounced off the wall. He had to lift so hard.
See Halpern now, he's clearly got some speed. We'll see if he can now chase down the leader, Ray Massey. And Massey, before they even get back near each other on track, Massey going to come down to pit road,
and
as
Bowers.
You mentioned. And we'll see if it's going to be calamity like last time we had green flag pit stops.
31 and here comes Calusa. Calusa's going to make it work. So that's 3 drivers this time on pit road. That's very early for the leaders to become good. You usually don't see the leaders being the first ones in, but that's what's happened. Clifton Cockrell from 13th, he'll pit. So they make that 4 on this round, and we'll see what Zach Halpern wants to do. I think they saw that Halpern saved his tires so much. I think Massey knew he was going to get passed, so you might as well undercut. And here comes Halpern. No! He's able to make it work. Here comes Zach Carr as well. Who's that behind him? Mitch Welker as well, as a big line of cars stay out.
Yeah, Welker not going to annihilate the cones. This time down onto pit lane. Able to get the car low down enough.
Puts Jordan Ashland into the lead for the time being, as he actually laps. Ray Massey just got out behind Jordan Ashland.
It's going to be big for seeing where these guys end up. A little bit of a break in the sequence as well. Trying to take a look where Brandon Bowers is on the track. There he is, trying to rocket his way back through 3 and 4.
Here comes Ashland, the pit road from the lead.
Brandon Bowers stuck in traffic, looking at the difference in pace. He's trying to race back around. There you see some of the leaders coming back off, including Zach Halpern, who's in the lead right about there as his car as he works past Car. Halpern just up the road on the inside lane.
But look how far up the road that 23 is. The 23 Ray Massey got clean air, and it's not going to take too long for the 26 and 31 to get through these guys, but look at the traffic they have to deal with, and they have a lot of time to gain. Bowers almost has to run into Hernandez. Hernandez might miss pit road, a late entry. Here comes Chuck Sweeting as well. Corey Steinhauser, I think they might have all made it work.
And there's Ray Massey. Wow, that's a big gap that they made off on pit lane. Or although what Ray Massey made on pit lane. There's Massey, there's Halpern and Bowers. We'll see in 40 laps if Halpern has enough car to chase back down Ray Massey. Make something worse. Jonathan Hernandez and Chuck Sweeting down on pit lane, as you mentioned, getting service to their cars. So it's been a slow trickle of cars down on pit lane. Not so much the big group that we saw. Alex Bell, he's going to surrender the lead to bring his car down to pit lane.
Looks like no one else will pit this time. Majority of the field has already pit. David Mott Jr., Brian Carwell's going to stay out. Mott Jr. gets second, and I believe that's everyone. Those are the only 2 people who have to pit now, and Carwell's coming in this time.
Yeah, Brian Carwell, I think, stayed out, led a lap, giving himself a bonus point. He's been playing that game very nicely. Has a ton of bonus points to his name. In fact, the most of any driver in the field, I think, only second to Zach Carr. So he's been playing the points game fairly well as he brings his car finally down into pit lane.
See, I don't think we're going to see anyone do 2 tires. We would have seen that already, but it's just not a risk worth taking. You get way too loose on 2 tires in iRacing.
Liam Sheen, he was one of the first cars to come down pit lane ahead of Zach Halpern and Massey. So he actually was able to kind of slot himself. Should be coming second when this whole cycle is out, but is the second to Ray Massey, who's already ahead of him. And we have Halpern again, man, trying to chase down that 23. He's been showing he has the pace, although I may want to argue he may need a caution to get himself close enough.
Didn't even know that Liam Sheen ever came down to pit road. Guess we just never saw it. He pit lap 93 coming to 94.
It was a while ago, so he was fairly off sequence. He was about 5 laps earlier than most of the other guys doing. I think he's tapped the wall as well.
Yes, he did. He hit it pretty good. I think it didn't do too much damage, but I think that's how hard he's driving it, trying to keep pace with the guys behind him, because there's no way he's going to be able to stay in front of them unless he does something very drastic.
Comes Zach Carr trying to work on Brandon Bowers. Battle for potentially 4th place when they cycle out, or I guess you should say 5th with Liam Sheen out.
Now David Mott Jr., he's the last driver to come in, and that will relinquish the lead, I believe. Maybe the case LAKATOS. I think LAKATOS has. He has not pit, actually. LAKATOS is not pit, so they'll be the next driver to pit. And he just said over the radio he'll pit next time by. So now he'll be the last driver to pit. And Ray Massey's only a second, 2 seconds behind him anyways.
That car able to blow on by. He will take 5th place away. At the moment should be 4th when they cycle out. And now going to set his sights. He's got Zach Halpern in his crosshairs looking to make this pass for position.
That's what pitting early is going to do to you. It just puts you on defense the entire rest of the race. And he's going to have a tough time keeping that 37 behind him as LAKATOS hits pit road.
And actually,
going to be for second.
Both these guys actually came in on the same lap, so they're on equal tires. Since that car is just a lot faster on the beginning part of the run. Arguably maybe too fast, because remember, Halpern made decent work of him when he was coming through last time, later in the run. So I have to see here if Zach Carr is pushing maybe a bit too hard early.
I wouldn't be surprised if he is. And Halpern's probably not going to like that he's pushing too hard, because that makes the 26 push too hard, because you really don't want to have to pass people back once you're done saving your tires. You really don't want to have to use a bunch of time up to get by someone again, and he really doesn't have time to waste. He is 6 seconds behind Ray Massey after that set of pit stops. Massey did a great job getting on and off pit road, so Halpern's got a lot of time to game and very little time to do it. Next few laps from now, it's going to be 30 to go.
Yeah, you saw Welker work past Liam Sheen. That was a battle for 5th place, fairly short-lived, as Welker makes himself inside the top 5. Got a 4-weight battle for 2nd place brewing here. This is definitely not going to be one to miss. You see these guys ripping the high lane.
Ashland ripped it too hard. He is still 7th, but he hit the wall pretty good in 3 and 4. We're starting to see more people hitting 3 and 4. We saw a lot of people pushing the limits in 1 and 2, but now 3 and 4 is becoming a treacherous spot.
Yeah, I think a lot of guys throwing it in there too hard, the bumps, and then throwing them into the wall, so definitely something to look out for something. But Ashland also just want to mention, fairly good run. It seems like he's been finishing a lot of the races in midfield, so this is the first time I can recall seeing him in the top 10 in recent memory.
5 top 10s this season, 2 top 5. So he's been here and there getting finishes here and there, but this is definitely a strong run for him at a track where it's been pretty much survival all day. Plus, he started all the way back in 27th, and he's all the way up to 7th. 20 spots, a really strong run.
Yeah, it really is. So biggest, I would definitely say he's probably the biggest mover of the race.
So Jeff Wright just lagged out of a session again, so that's definitely going to end his day. He was already about 4 laps down and not gaining anything. Really would have been a different race if he was able to stay in it, but his internet has done that at times, and it's disappointing.
We go back on board with Zach Carr making Halpern push, arguably maybe a little bit more than he wants to. They're closing in on the leader of Ray Massey. It was down to 6 seconds a few laps ago, now down to 5.7. Car is trying to mount the pressure on the 26 into a mistake.
Bowers and Carr are teammates, so they could work together to get by Halpern, but I know Zach's also, they're kind of really good friends with Halpern, so I can't imagine they're going to race Halpern too hard, but you really don't want to have to settle for 3rd or 4th or whatever positions they're going to be battling for here. Mitchell Welker's still back there in 5th. They want to get by that 26, but it's almost at the point where it would probably be better to follow Halpern, and hopefully he can lead you back up to the leader, Ray Massey.
There's you see Bowers on the inside trying to make something work with Carr stuck in the dirty air on the outside lane. They're going to try to make it work. Still going to try to throw it down low. Carr was thinking of making it middle 3 wide, but couldn't quite get the car to rotate. Here comes Bowers now with the run off of turn 4.
That's just how hard Halpern's trying to save. That's a part of it. You don't want to send it into a corner because you'll use that right front up, sending it into a corner too hard, and that's why he's getting gingerly into turns 1 and turn 3, and he's able to have really good throttle control on exit, not turning the wheel too much to try to save that right front, because if you don't control that throttle, you're going to kill your right rear as well, so it's very difficult to save those tires, but he's mastered it so far. He's the best on the long run by far last run, but like once again, 6 seconds to gain in very little time.
Yeah, I think he's going to be having to bank on a yellow coming out to really get himself close. I think he's got the pace, it's just not the time really to work with to make it happen. That is a lot to make up under green. Plus, he's got 3 hungry cars in behind that are also not giving him any breaks. Bowers now again pushing the issue pretty much where Carr left off, trying to make a run happen on that inside lane. Carr sitting back and forth with WELKER, looking to be the one to be starting to make some moves as he's stuck in 5th.
Well, these guys are grouped up pretty much on similar tires as well, 2nd through 5th under a blanket. P6 is all the way back to Jordan Ashton, who he's past Liam Sheen. Liam Sheen's actually back into the wall in 3 and 4. He'll lose another spot to Jonathan Hernandez, who will move himself up to 7th. Then Alex Bell on the freshest tires in the field, one of the freshest tires in the field. He's in 9th.
You can see him immediately working past Liam Sheen, who is struggling at the moment back into 9th place. Bell just took that spot away, up in 8th for the 15 car.
What he can do, he might be able to get to 6th at the most, but getting up to the top 5 with how far those guys are ahead is going to be tough. But I think with the tires as fresh as they are, he should be able to have a shot at getting the 6th here.
Across the line, less than 25 laps left to go for these drivers. You see Bowers, a little bit of a cheeky block entering turn 1, and Carr trying to rocket the high lane.
Huge move by Bell on the front straightaway, 3 wide top to get by the lap car of Steve Loving and Jonathan Hernandez. That'll put him up to 7th. That was a power move.
So we can try to take a look back as Bowers now trying to make Halpern work for his money here, and Halpern too. Talking about the money, so close to getting the dash up into 2nd. You have to win the race to get that $50. You see Carr now also trying to work on Brandon Bowers full for 2nd place.
Problem is he needs to gain tenths at a time, and he's just staying stagnant 6 seconds behind Ray Massey. Massey, he's just able to take his time. He has some lap traffic, but really not much. Only really one car ahead of him. He has all the time in the world to give up, and Halpern has to really hustle this car at some point to try to gain. It's just, I don't know how realistic it is, as here comes Case LAKATOS through this pack trying to maybe get a lap back by the end of this.
Yeah, LAKATOS has been, car has been torn up, not of his own volition. Again, talking about being the bat of the ball, and LAKATOS has been the ball and then some. Car battered and bruised on multiple occasions.
Oh, he is very bruised, no doubt about it. He's got tons of battle scars on the front and the rear, right side, left side, probably the undercarriage of the car. He's probably got damage on the roof. It's been a tough go at it.
Yeah, and I can imagine it's been a little bit miserable driving a damaged car. We've been watching how much, any little bit of damage, even just to the fenders on the sides, how much it affects performance. And you can imagine for LAKATOS, that car not looking particularly fast with all the damage to it. He's been struggling back in 15, but it looks like he can still get a top 15 out of today, which is, I gotta say, definitely a victory considering the state of that car.
Meanwhile, up in the 6th is Alex Bell. He passed Jordan Ashton not too long ago. Same for Jonathan Hernandez. He passes Ashton. So Ashton 8th and Bell 6th and 7th is Hernandez now.
Yeah, and for Bell, as you mentioned, it's going to be a little bit tough for him to potentially catch up to the guys up in front of him. By comparison, Halpern ran a 32 flat last time through. For Alex Bell, 32-1. So he actually lost some time there.
Yeah, so it's not going to be very likely. Halpern did gain a 10th on Ray Massey, but you need to gain about 3/10 a lap at this point to gain any ground on the 23 to the point where you'll race for the win. And even though I know Halpern saved really well, I just don't think he can do that without a yellow.
Yeah, I think for Ray Massey, he's led 39 laps this race. Jeff Wright's led 43. So a few laps away for Ray Massey from usurping Jeff Wright of that title. Most laps led tonight here at Atlanta. Massey's has been a dominating performance for the 23, and I'm not sure when this is, I think if I'm not mistaken, this will be his first win of the season if he keeps it up.
Trying to check at the same time. I don't believe he's won. He is not one of the winners, so this would be his first overall win. I'm looking at this pack right now. Case LAKATOS on back. It's a big pack and a very scary pack where you can see it. Yeah, you got drivers on new tires like Jeff Wright, Case LAKATOS, and you got Riley Thompson and Caleb Weekly just trying to get out of this thing as they're all grouping up together at this point.
Yeah, LAKATOS making his way on through with fresher rubber than the guys he's with at the moment, but the damaged car as well, so it's kind of stalling him out as he's trying to work past Brandon Bowers.
And Halpern's not going to let him by easily. Neither is Brandon Bowers, because they need the cleanest air they can get if they want to fight, to fight for the at least second place, if not for the win, as you're going to want to keep that 50 car behind you if you want anything to do with battling for a spot at all. As here comes Bowers trying to make a run at the very end on Halpern here.
He's been trying, and he's going to, throw it up in there very tightly into turn 2. Going to wash up just a little bit, not quite get there.
Welker. Here comes Welker going for that 4th position. Car almost hit the wall through turns 1 and 2. Jeff Wright's into a wall, but Welker's not able to make the bottom work.
He's going to try, though. He's not going to probably be helped out by Case LAKATOS, who's directly in front of him. As both of them catch up to the 50, and Welker going to be held up here. Going to have to look in the middle. Car up on top.
I can't imagine Welker's very happy about LAKATOS being in his way, but there's just nothing LAKATOS can do about that, and Carr's going to go right by LAKATOS, and I think now LAKATOS is just going to bow out and let them by.
LAKATOS is just trying to battle for position. He's got Corey, or actually, no, sorry, he isn't actually battling for position. I thought it was all because he's battling for position, the car up ahead of him that he's fighting with is the 42 Ryan Kish. Back in 14th. This is unfortunate to see for Kish after starting and running up in the top 5 for most of the day back in 14th. Probably not ideally where he would have wanted to end up.
Yeah, had a good run, just I think got very unfortunate, get very unlucky on that 4 wide incident in the turn 3. He got the short end of the stick. He got put into a wall and had big damage ever since then, so he's just trying to survive at this point to get the finish he can. And even if LAKATOS was able to get by Kish, it's not the lucky dog position right now. That's Clifton Cockrell. He's pretty much just running right behind Ray Massey at this point.
Here comes Carr working on Ryan Kish in the 42. Welker looking to pass his teammate on by. Continues charge for 4th place.
Everyone's all converging on each other now. Bowers is still giving Zach Halpern a good run, as those two have pulled away with their battle for second. I don't think Zach Carr has the tire or even the car to really compete with them. He's really just got to fend off Mitch Welker for the 4th position that he has right now. And P6, Alex Bell, still has not made up enough ground on them. He's gaining on them, but just not enough.
Yeah, he's 3.8 seconds back from Mitch Welker in 5th, so definitely doesn't look like he'll be able to close at the rate he's going at. And looking at Halpern too, he didn't even really close it low. He gets very loose off of turn 2. He's going to let Bowers get a bit of a run, have a look up the inside in turn 3.
Yeah, how much Halpern can really fight him as Matthew Close is the next driver to retire from the race. He was having a great run, so it's unfortunate. But the battle for second is heated up. Halpern might not have been able to save the tires, probably because of how hard Bowers and Carr were trying to push him. So that could have really derailed what Halpern's plan was.
Go both these guys off into turns 1 and 2 in behind as well. Similar story, Welker looking for a way to get past the 37 of Zach Carr directly in front of him for 4th. These two continue onwards.
Also the battle for 6th. Bell is gaining, but so is Hernandez. Those two are right next to each other with tires as well. As Hernandez is doing the same thing, trying the bottom. There's dirty air on the top, trying to go bottom, just not working.
Able to make a little bit of time down there and then maybe get a little bit of a draft down the straightaway. That's what Hernandez is trying to work with at the moment. Good battle for 6th between himself and Alex Bell.
Comes Welker to the bottom. He has a good run through turns 1 and 2, but Carr's going to get that run off the top, and he has to draft from Bowers more than Welker does, as Welker's going to still try to hang on the left rear.
This is the only thing really Welker can go for, because Carr is going to defend that top with all he can. He knows that's the lane. You at least want to stay in when you're defending for a spot. Continue side by side down the front stretch.
This is the farthest he's been alongside Carr in the turn 1, I think, as he's got a good run through 1 and 2 again. Missed the bottom a little bit, but he has almost the full car in front of him, but just not enough.
Trying to make it work here, get a little bit of side drive down the back straight as well, but he's definitely fighting. I can't imagine, again, that's doing too good for him. The longer he's down there, it's doing worse for his tires, and I can't quite get back and essentially back to square one, back behind the 37.
You just gotta time it you gotta time everything perfectly with this momentum racing. You have to you gotta run the perfect line with as much clean air as possible. Then you gotta get a run on them out of a corner somehow. You have to find a place to just pull out and pass them into a corner, and then you have to somehow make it stick. And all 4 steps of that are just very, very impossible, but somehow you've got to piece them all together
and you
and
have
make
to make
it work.
Yeah,
you have to make it work, or else you're losing positions.
And all 4 of those pieces have to fit in place, and for Welker at the moment, it's not quite the story. Same thing for Brandon Bowers. He's been trying and trying for about the last 20 laps or so, but just cannot seem to find any way around the 26 who's ahead of Halpern's. Just been keeping the car steady at a steady pace. He's been losing quite a bit of time now almost 7 seconds back from Ray Massey, but I think he's more worried about just keeping the 2nd place at bay.
And Hernandez has been in the same boat trying to get by Alex Bell, but now he falls behind Alex Bell a little bit more, and I believe Ryan Carl is on a bit fresher tires, who might be able to pass both of those drivers for 7th and 6th.
Take a look at Ryan Carlisle here. He's been slowly working his way up through the order. There is Hernandez and Bell directly in front, and also Ryan Kish is going to get past. Only has a few laps to get it done, though. We'll see if he can get it done to get solid finishes for Carlisle.
Meanwhile, Mitch Welker, out of turn number 2, finally made the bottom work. He got by Zachary Carr. His car shoves him hard into turn number 3. The 16 has the position finally.
Take a look at that, how he was able to make that work for Welker. Just put the car all the way to the white line and then slam the door shut on exit. Great move for the 16.
It's pretty much textbook there. He was finally able to get the run he needed, and he was missing the bottom a bunch of the time. He wasn't going to the white line. That time he got to the white line, he was able to make it work and rotate that car perfectly executed there.
And also starting to drive away now, looking at Ryan Carlisle here as he's charging in the last few laps of this race, looking at getting a few spots. Won't be a top 5, but solid finish nonetheless. Again, continuing his points lead. I mean, we got to be looking at him as a talks for the championship. Again, he's just been extremely consistent. We've seen all, and the big thing too, I think, with this has been the fact we've had, again, we're scheduled to get another new race winner this season. No one's quite dominated in the win department, and I think that's why just getting these solid, consistent finishes has been really working out for the 71. Could be in the talks even despite the fact that he doesn't have a win.
Yeah, it's been all about consistency, and when you have a bunch of different winners, like you were talking about, you need to be consistent because there could be a bunch of instances where you will win a race, but then the next week you'll finish 20th, and then maybe you'll get a top 10, and then you'll finish like 25th. It doesn't matter what league it is, what chase system it is. You need consistency to win championships. If you look towards the Fuel League that just ended their season, Alan Elwood was consistently dominant, won 7 races or so in the regular season, and then the first race of their Fuel final system, he wrecks out of Dover and he can never recover. So it just takes all the consistency throughout a full season to win a championship, and right now Ryan Carlisle's done everything he needs to do to put himself in that position.
Yeah, looking trying to get Hernandez spot from Jonathan Hernandez right in front as he washes up out of turn 4. Carlisle with the run as they take 4 laps to go as they come across the line. Just for reference, there is Ray Massey half a lap ahead working through turns 3 and 4. He will see 3 laps to go when he gets by the line next time by.
Well, we've seen Clean Air help people dominate tonight. Jeff Wright was way out ahead. It looked like Brandon Bowers was going to be that next guy to get Clean Air and dominate, and then it was Ray Massey who just took off from the rest of the field, almost up to a 7-second lead now. He's been pretty perfect since he took that lead.
And here comes Carlisle throwing into the inside of Hernandez. Not quite clear of him just yet. It was almost looking like he was going to go 2 for 1 through 3 and 4. He's trying to get these spots here. He knows he's only got a few laps to get it done. Hernandez also trying to make work of Bell. Can't quite get it done. He's going to have to back out. Others, he would have spun the 15 out. Carlisle making the bottom, ripping it on the inside, trying to keep these 2 at bay.
Yeah, that could have been a big wreck there because they almost went 3 wide when no one even thought they were going 3 wide, but all of them really spread out after that corner. It's going to be difficult for all of them to get back by, but Carlisle did get the position for 7th at least.
Yeah, 2 laps to go. Bell's got to hold off 2 more laps to hold on to his 6th place finish at the moment. Not many other battles going on the track. It's one of the closer ones to look at here as they got 2 laps to go.
Bowers just has been trying that bottom, and he just hasn't gotten close enough to Halpern to make any sort of ground up on him. But meanwhile, that leader, Ray Massey, he took the lead, and he's been dominant ever since coming to the white flag.
Indeed, it's been a fantastic performance for the 23 as he comes across the line. 1 more lap to go. He didn't quite dominate the first part of it. That was really much so by the 2 of Jeff Wright. But since then, he's just put this car out in front, absolutely drove away from the rest of the field, has not really had much competition to work with since the last restart, and has led 58 laps, going to be 59. He comes through 3 and 4. For the 23 Ray Massey, he will be yet another winner this season for the Outsiders Racing League. Ray Massey in the 23 takes home the win here at Atlanta.
Halpern's going to hold on for 2nd. Bowers hit the wall in turn 2, trying to get him. Welker will get to him. Bowers 3rd, Welker 4th, Carr 5th. They door at the line. Carr doors Hurley at the line. Alex Bell holds off Carwell for 6th.
That was actually close, very close at the line for them. 38 thousandths of a second between himself and Carlisle.
Hernandez gets 8th, Ashland 9th, top 10 for Chuck Sweeting, David Mott Jr. 11th, and Liam Sheen will be the final lead lap car in 12th.
And Liam Sheen probably going to be thinking what could have happened, what could have been gone better for him, finishing all the way back in 12th place. But for the 23, Ray Massey going to burn it up down the front stretch. Don't even save his tires anymore. Oh, and Pit Road's going to claim yet another car.
That's number 27. By my totally official count. I haven't seen that one. He went all the way from the track to the inside pit wall, but it doesn't matter. He's the winner. He can do whatever he wants.
Absolutely. Going to now burn him up down the front straightaway and celebrate his victory. I guess a long time coming. We're talking about him before the race started. Him been having some solid runs this season. It was just a matter of time before he finally got to victory lane. In fact, let's go through quickly here your finishing results. Again, Ray Massey in the 23 taking on the victory. Halpern, Bowers, Welker, and Carr, your top 5.
Yeah, it's a big finish for a bunch of those guys in the top 10. Bell fought back for 6th after all he went through. Carwell, Hernandez, Ashton a strong run in 9th, and Chuck Sweeting fought all the way back to 10th.
And taking a look at your next row of results, David Mott Jr., Liam Sheen, your final finishers on the lead lap, and then some other guys struggling quite a bit. LAKATOS and Ryan Kish notably in 50 and 42.
Yeah, a few guys there who you thought could be contenders for the win, like Riley Thompson and who was it over there? Chuck Sweeting we were talking about as well. Definitely that 56 machine we were looking at maybe a shot at the win. Same for Ryan Kish, but they got caught up in stuff early and they could not recover.
And you're looking at your second to last page of results, we did have 31 drivers start the race. Looking at Jeremiah Vincent, Jeff Wright. Jeff Wright with his internet struggles, what could have been for him. Was again mentioned the driver dominating this race before Ray Massey took over the reins, and he ended up finishing 12 laps down back in 22nd. Gotta give props though for Wright for sticking it out, although he continued to run this race to the end despite losing connection, I think 2 or 3 different times.
Yeah, 2 times, but he stayed in it, at least almost got a top 20 out of it. Matthew Close, he was fast, he couldn't recover. Bryce Calusa went out late in the race. Eric Hutton could never get the car under him. Hunter Johnson, another guy who victim of the big crash at the turn 4, and then out of CABOT, AJ Travato, definitely guys who you usually see contend for a win, just could not do anything tonight.
Looking at that, so that'll essentially be your finishing results. So Joshua Collins back in 31st, so the decide show him. Finished all the way back in 31st. We got Zach Halpern, so we'll drag him into the booth. Hey, Zach Halpern, 26. This is Simpson. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. How you doing?
Doing good. Ended up finishing 2nd place, your best finish of the season so far, and definitely earned it. Had a great run out there, especially keeping those last 3 guys at bay for the last 40 laps.
Yeah, car was I don't really know what to say about the car. It's hard to pass. You just kind of got to run around the top and get in front of the guy and get dirty air. Dirty air is like ridiculous, and leader just pulls away by a ton. We had no chance to catch up thanks to this setup. Kind of wish they would stop getting this guy to do the setups, because every week it's the same thing, but it is what it is. I'm glad with the finish, happy with what I did. Yeah,
and Zach, you're running a little bit on a part-time schedule. When's the next time we can expect to see you out on track?
Whenever. I can't really answer that. When I kind of just come out here when I feel like it. I was in here tonight because of Dash for Cash, wanted that opportunity, almost won it, so thanks to the admins, Brian, Chambliss, Supernatural 3, giving us the opportunity for that kind of money and taking their time to do this stuff for us. We really appreciate it. Just wish they kind of would change what the setups are, but it's not their fault. They don't make them anymore, so, but I'm happy with it. I'll take a 2nd place definitely. Thanks to Toyota also. I like to thank my buddies out there, Tim and AJ. I like to thank Zach Carr and Brandon Bowers. That was good racing at the end. Yeah, not much really to say though. Really disappointed there wasn't a caution there at the end. Happy overall, but I'm out here to win. I'm not out here to finish 2nd.
All right, well, Zach, wherever we see you next, hopefully you'll pretty much be up near the front. It's great watching you drive. Congratulations on the 2nd.
Hey, thanks, guys. You do a great job. See you another time.
See you, Zach. And next we'll go on to Brandon Bowers, your 3rd place finisher. And Brandon, we saw you try again, but unfortunately couldn't get past Zach Halpern there at the end.
Yeah, I don't know what I could have done more. Like, the dirty air is so bad you can't pass. The setup was really tight this week. It's just hard to pass all the way around. If you went up to the outside to defend, like, you couldn't be passed. So, I mean, Ray was just blast the field all day, so it was only a matter of time before he got up there. Jeff might have had something for him, but I don't know. It was a good day for me, I guess.
Yeah, looking back, we saw you're pretty much up inside the top 3 for a majority of the race. Do you think maybe looking back, any decision you could have probably done differently to keep that car up in front?
I learned something there on that last run that would have helped me a lot the whole race, but I don't know if it would have been enough for Ray, because I think he was still pulling me at that point, so I don't know. He said he was running 16-1. I was running 14, but I mean, he was faster either way, so congrats to him.
Well, congrats on Brandon for your top 3 finish. Good luck to you next week.
All right, thank you.
And last but certainly not least, your race winner for tonight, Ray Massey in the 23 Ray. Congratulations on the race win. I think it was essentially one coming to you, especially after last mile and a half we were at. Homestead ended up finishing 3rd there, so this, I guess, was the next step for you.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I love this track. It is a blast to drive. And I got to admit, I got lucky. I think Jeff Wright had us covered tonight, and he had some connection problems, but I'll take it.
Yeah, and definitely looking at it, I guess, you don't want to share his secrets, but we know that definitely the passing was, even falling was hard to do, but how on earth were you able to just drive away up 7 seconds by the end of the race?
Well, I had clean track. That helps a ton. I know early on it was tough to pass. Me and Liam battled for what felt like 50 laps side by side. And if you have the high line, you can get the run, and the bottom, you just had to check up to give the guy on the outside room. But yeah, get clean air and you could drive away.
It definitely looked like it, Ray. Looking, I'm trying to take a look at where you are in the points. I think you're doing fairly well for yourself, up in 6th. And obviously, I guess it's fairly early to talk about championship aspirations, but with the chase just over the horizon, how are your looks as far as potentially trying to take home this season championship?
Yeah, I haven't been able to think that far ahead just yet. I'm a rookie in the league, and just getting the feel for it. And while I got you, I want to give a shout out to some folks. My dad, he does a great job crew chiefing for me. He does pit strategy and things like that to help me out. And I have Clark Print Shop on my car. That's my brother-in-law's small business in Lebanon, Virginia. Go there for all your desktop publishing needs.
Definitely glad you can give them a shout out and give them a win. So congratulations to you, Ray Massey. Hopefully first so many for you.
All right, hope to talk to you again. Thanks, guys.
No problem. And I honestly, speaking of that, I wish I could get my dad to crew chief and do fuel mileage for me. Although I feel like he probably just be judging my driving the entire time, so maybe it's not a good thing. But there is your top 3 finishers for tonight. Despite the passing obviously being an issue, I definitely think these guys did a great job. Despite that, trying to get passing done, definitely made it for some entertaining racing.
That's probably why we saw so much aggressive racing at the very beginning and on the second to last restart. That's why we probably saw the 3 wide, the 4 wide. These drivers, because of how much they practiced, they knew how hard it was to pass, so they knew they needed all the clean air they could get, and that's why we saw crazy racing all over the place. Many incidents that didn't bring out yellows. A bunch of contenders got taken out. We saw 4 wide into a corner. That's how important the clean air is. You need to go 4 wide into a corner at Atlanta to try to get to the front. I think that's why we saw a lot of urgency from drivers, and at the end of the day, clean air was king, and that restart by Ray Massey to get by Brandon Bowers, that proved to be the pass for the win, and it was a big win for him.
Indeed, and great job for him. Well, for now, that's going to be wrapping up our coverage here of the Outsiders Racing League here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Next week, we're going to be heading off to Road America for round number... actually, did I get the numbers wrong? I did. Oh, that's why I got the number of winners wrong. This is round 12. I put that wrong in the little event info.
Oh, yeah,
this is round 12.
Round 12.
Next week will be round 13 at Road America. So obviously some great guys turning right and turning left at the same time. And Road America is a great racing facility in general. So if you love road course racing with stock cars, definitely check that out next week. It'll be the second to last round before the chase starts as well. So, but for now, my name is Pina Kuna here with Connor Horn. We're Sync TV, and we'll be signing out for tonight. Thank you for watching.